Welcome into the Commanders Report mailbag. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today I get to answer your questions on the Burgundy and Gold. It's my favorite segment to do every week, man, because I get to hear from you guys. You guys tell me what you want me to talk about. If you have questions on the stuff I'm talking about, I get to provide some clarity, answer some questions, and I really just enjoy having this kind of conversation with you guys every single week. Now, if you're watching this, you're not watching it on the live show. If you guys want to get your questions on the show in the future, we go live every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys want to join us, you want to get your questions on the show, and you guys can get on screen and the whole 9 yards here for free, you guys can click that subscribe button, join us on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, and join us for Commanders Report live shows. So with that, let's get into our questions today, starting with Garrison Barfield saying, do you think Jaden Daniels will play even though he's doubtful? Right now, like you said, it's not looking great. Ian Rappaport did say that he is in doubt to play in Week 8 versus the Bears. He did not practice on Wednesday. Now, this is going to be coming out, I think, either Friday or Saturday. So it's possible that by the time this video comes out, Jaden is practicing. He has a better chance to play. So we'll see how this progresses throughout the week. But at the time of me recording this on Wednesday, it's not looking too good. Let me go on from Johnny Dodger. What's up, Johnny? Says, what should Washington give up for Jaycee Horn? I would personally be willing to give up as much as a third-round pick. All right, JC is really, really a good player. I've said it on the show before. He's got long arms, very strong physical corner that's very physically gifted. I compared his skill set to Jalen Ramsey when he was coming out, and he has shown flashes of that Jalen Ramsey-esque kind of skill set in the National Football League. Now, he's had some injuries. Is he ever going to be the kind of player that he could have been if he didn't have some of those really serious knee injuries that he had? Who knows? But I've seen Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. take a guy with a similar skill set in Trevon Diggs in Dallas and turn him into one of the best and most productive corners in the National Football League within this system down there, down south against the Cowgirls, or with the Cowgirls, I should say. So Jaycee Horn, I think, could absolutely be a game changer on defense for this Commanders team. I think his skill set is perfect for the defense that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. like to play. Very in your face, very aggressive, very man heavy, very go out and make turnovers. Jaycee Horn is the exact type of player that I think fits in this defensive scheme. Then we got Quan Din. I love that name, man. Says, I hear Cooper Kupp is available. Crazy to inquire about his status. Maybe not crazy, maybe see what the Rams want for him, but it sounds like they want a second-round pick and they might take a third-round pick for him. Is it that pressing of a need for Washington to trade a second or third-round pick for a wide receiver? I would argue no. This is already arguably the most potent offense in the league without Cooper Kupp. And even though Kupp is a great talent and all this different stuff, I just really don't think Washington is all too interested in trading for a wide receiver. I think if you're going to trade for a big-name receiver, you would have done it with Brandon Ayuk because he has already built-in chemistry with Jaden Daniels, and they decided not to pursue Brandon Ayuk in any really serious way. So I can't really expect Cooper Kupp to be in that same vein, at least in my opinion. But personally, man, I think you go out and make a trade for a corner, and you maybe even make a trade for an edge rusher, and you try to make this defense better. I think the offense is already set. So who's your guy? Let me know down there in the comment section. Who's a player you're hoping the Commanders trade for this year? Let me know when you guys. Let me know for today's pinned comment. For me personally, I would love Jaycee Horn. We talked about him earlier. I think he's young. I think that he is very physical. I think he's a perfect fit for this defense. So that's my guy. Let me know your guy down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Going from Mary or Mari, whichever one it is, it says, do you think the Commanders will trade for an edge rusher at the deadline? Certainly possible. We discussed it a little bit earlier in the week. There's definitely quite a few edge rushers that could be dealt before the deadline. Now, will the Commanders really prioritize that? We'll see. They did just release Jamin Davis. So it's going to be interesting here. I would personally love to see this team add an edge rusher. Somebody like a Harold Landry, maybe somebody somebody else, maybe like a Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns would be a very fun idea. But then also I want them to get a corner. And if I have to pick between corner or edge rusher right now, I'm definitely going with the corner. Then we've gone from Demarius Young, says, what do you think of Mike Williams coming to DC? So Demarius, kind of like Cooper Kupp, I just don't really think that the Commanders need a receiver. And honestly, I think that Noah Brown plays kind of the role that Mike Williams would play here, only better. They're kind of bigger receivers. And I think Noah Brown does everything Mike Williams can do, and he does it honestly even better. And then he does other things even better than Mike Williams. I think he's a much better route runner, much better separator. He's better after the catch, in my opinion. So Mike Williams is a big name. Lots of people know it because he played for the Chargers for all those years. Pretty productive player, Pro Bowler, all these different things. But right now, I think the Commanders are good. Don't think they want to spend any draft capital on a receiver. Now, before we get into the rest of today's questions, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports right on your phone. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. And Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, especially now because the NBA season is just starting. And right now they have a special promotion where if Anthony Edwards just scores 1 point, that's an easy square to win, and it's automatic. So Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long with our friends at Prize Picks. Let's take a look at my most recent Prize Picks projection for this week's matchups here. We're going to go with the more on Kyren Williams tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football with the Goblin promotion right there. Just has to score a touchdown. Then I'll take the more on Joe Mixon rushing yards for the Houston Texans. And then I'll take the more on Cooper Kupp touchdowns here and for Thursday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings. So you guys can download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you just play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Got one from C Breezy. What's up, C Breeze? Says, would you consider Marcus Mariota a top 5 backup QB in the NFL today? I think you can put certain people in this category, and I think that, after Marcus's performance against Carolina, he's certainly in that discussion. Especially if he goes out this week against Chicago and really puts on a good performance against a top 5 scoring defense. I think that's probably going to solidify him as one of the top backup options in the National Football League. Now, last week, very good performance, but it was against a really, really bad defense in Carolina that, let's face it, was kind of giving up towards the end of the game. So, relatively easy stuff, especially at home for Marcus Mariota. This week, it's going to be a much bigger challenge going up against the Chicago team this week. I'm hoping that he really solidifies himself as one of the top backups this week. But C Breezy, I want to see at least one more week before I say he's top 5 backup in the NFL. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comment section. Is Marcus Mariota a top 5 backup QB in the NFL today? Simply give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We got one from JG. It says, Commanders, did Marcus's game surprise you as much as it did me? Yeah, 100% JG. Even going back to when the Commanders signed Marcus Mariota in free agency, I'm like, I don't even like this guy as a backup quarterback. Now, I feel a lot better about him now after seeing him play against an actual NFL team. He had a successful 2-minute drill. He had multiple touchdown passes. He was making some tight window throws in the middle of the field, made some throws on the run. He did some very impressive stuff last week against the Carolina Panthers that have me thinking he's a very solid NFL backup for sure. And if he can get the win as the starter this week, if he ends up playing against Chicago, I mean, goodness gracious, that's going to solidify him not only as the Commanders' really, really good backup quarterback this year, but a potential kind of bridge starter for a different franchise down the road if he continues to play well. So make sure you guys like today's video if you want to win in Week 8. I know I personally want to see this Commanders team, whether it's Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota under center, beat up on Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. So if you're with me there and you want the Commanders to win, make sure you click that thumbs up icon right now. We got Greg Berlanga here. Says, do you think we can make it to the second round of the playoffs? What percentage do you think we can make it? So good question here, Greg. I do think they can make it to the second round of the playoffs. Last year, the Houston Texans won a playoff game last year, and I look at the Commanders in a very similar vein to what the Houston Texans were able to do last year. They both have established, young rookie star quarterbacks, kind of a roster that maybe is incomplete. First-year head coaches. There's a lot of similarities between the Texans last year and the Commanders this year, and I think they could share that similarity of winning a playoff game if they face a certain type of wild card opponent in the first round. So my guess is at this point that they're going to win the division, and if that's the case, they're going to have a home playoff game, and you're going to be playing against a wild card team that maybe isn't the best football team overall. So I definitely think the Commanders can win a playoff game this year. The percentage on that, right now I'd probably put it at like 55-60% chance they win a playoff game this year, and I think that's pretty darn good. Now, if you're going to be progressing to more than that, multiple playoff wins, Super Bowl, I think the percentage goes down quite considerably. But could they win a playoff game this year? I think absolutely. Then we go on from Bello Boker, says, do you think this will make do you think that we will make a move for a cornerback before the deadline? I sure hope so, man. I really, really hope that Adam Peters sees the writing on the wall here. I think that here on the channel, we kind of saw that this team could have really used Stephon Gilmore. So I don't know why they didn't end up signing him. He is having a great season with the Minnesota Vikings, and I think he'd be having a great season here. But right now, you got Benjamin St-Juste and Mike Sainristil as your two starting cornerbacks, and Mike has really been coming along here. I've been really impressed with the way that he's been playing these last several weeks, and Benjamin is fine. But Noah Benogany is just not really a starting quality corner in this league, even though he's a really high-effort player, and I appreciate him. I do think that you really want to get another outside cornerback to put Mike Sainristil back to where he plays his best football, which is in the slot. And honestly, Benjamin St-Juste isn't a number one guy either. So if you can get a legit number one cornerback to bring in here at the deadline, I say that's the number one move that the Commanders need to make. Then we've gone from Pitbull, says, I think Dan Quinn should be the favorite to be the coach of the year at this point. Do you agree? I actually do agree with this. I think there's a lot of great coaches that are in consideration for this. Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings, Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions, I think is another one. Like, there's a lot of people in this league, a lot of head coaches that I think deserve, consideration here. But Dan Quinn took a team that was drafting second in the NFL draft last year. He hired all the right people, it seemed like, in the offensive side of the ball. He drafted the right quarterback in Jaden Daniels, it seems, and he's making this defense, which, let's face it, is one of the most least talented defensive units just on paper. And right now, they are ranking 15th in scoring defense. So in terms of the output, they're about league average with, maybe bottom third in terms of overall talent on defense. So he's elevating the defense. He hired the right people to handle the offense. The culture is clearly working here in Washington. So I think Dan Quinn should be in consideration as much as anybody for Coach of the Year at this point. So let me know down there in the comments section, what is the percent chance that Dan Quinn walks away with the Coach of the Year award in the NFL this year? Put it on a scale of 0, meaning no chance he gets it, to 100, meaning he's definitely 100%, no matter what happens, he's going to win this trophy. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. That'll be it for this week's Commanders Report Mailbag. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I'll see you guys later, and until next time, go raise some hail.